Law in Anglo-Saxon England was not enforced by distant authorities or permanent institutions. It was embedded in everyday community life. Order depended on shared responsibility, local knowledge, and mutual obligation rather than professional policing. Most disputes were handled locally. Communities were organized into small groups of households that were collectively responsible for maintaining order. If someone committed an offense, responsibility did not rest on the individual alone. This system encouraged restraint because wrongdoing created risk for others as well as oneself. Justice focused on compensation rather than punishment. Harm was measured in practical terms, such as injury, loss of property, or disruption to labor. Compensation payments were intended to restore balance rather than exact revenge. This approach reduced cycles of violence and preserved cooperation within small communities. Law relied heavily on reputation. People were known by their behavior over time. Those who consistently met obligations were trusted, while those who failed to do so faced social pressure, loss of support, or exclusion. In a society where survival depended on cooperation, reputation carried real weight. Truth was established through sworn statements supported by others in the community. These were not casual promises. Breaking an oath damaged credibility and threatened future cooperation. Assemblies provided a formal setting for resolving disputes. Local gatherings allowed grievances to be heard, agreements to be made, and obligations to be reaffirmed. These meetings reinforced shared norms and reminded individuals that law was a collective responsibility rather than an external force. There was no separation between law and daily life. Rules governed everyday behavior, including work obligations, boundaries, and compensation for harm. Enforcement depended on participation rather than force. Compliance was achieved through expectation, not constant oversight. Law also protected stability. By setting predictable outcomes for conflict, it reduced uncertainty. People knew what was expected of them and what consequences followed if expectations were not met. This predictability supported cooperation in farming, food sharing, and survival during hardship. Community responsibility offered support but also carried limits. Those who repeatedly violated norms could lose protection. Isolation was a serious consequence in a society where survival depended on shared labor and mutual aid. Law in Anglo-Saxon England was not distant or abstract. It was local, practical, and personal. Order was maintained not by power alone, but by participation. And daily life depended on knowing the rules, accepting obligation, and living within a shared framework.